So we have discussed the surface mining methods, which is the subject of your study in this semester. Besides that, besides that, you are also studying the underground mining methods. So these uh, in our country, in our country, the coal is mined by Coal India. Coal India is the uh, company which is mining coal in India. So the coal producing subsidiaries under Coal India, there are some subsidiaries are there like Eastern Coalfields Limited, Bharat Coking Coal Limited, Central Coalfields Limited, uh, then Northern Coalfields Limited, Western Coalfields Limited, Southern Coalfields Limited, Mahanadi Coalfields Limited, Northeastern Coalfields Limited. All these subsidiaries are producing coal in India. And besides that, the Singareni Collieries Company Limited is also producing coal in India, and Nebali Lignite Corporation is producing lignite, carrying out lignite mining in uh, India. So the mining methods which are followed, the mining methods which are followed uh, is by open cast mining method and underground mining method. Coal is mined by two main methods of mining. One is called your surface mining method or open cast mining method, and the other one is underground coal mining method. So the choice of mining method is largely determined by the depth, geology of the coal deposit, and other factors. So the majority of the world's coal production is coming from open cast mines. This scenario is same in India also. So we have discussed about the open cast mining methods, the different unit operations which are carried out in surface mines. Mining process in open cast mines are: first you have to drill the holes, after that blast the holes, after that load the material, after that haul the material, then transporting, and finally the mineral is to be processed, coal is to be washed. So drilling is carried out by drill machines. There are two types of drill machines are there. One is rotary drilling, the other one is percussive drilling, and you can go for a combination of rotary percussive drilling method also. Similarly, the blasting is carried out by different type of explosives, like your site mixed slurry explosives are used for blasting purpose, emulsion explosives are used for blasting purpose, primers are used for blasting purpose, and non-electric detonators are also used for the blasting purpose. Then after the material is blasted, fragmented, then you have to use the loading machines like your shovels and drag lines will be used for the loading of the blasted material, and the short distance hauling is done by front end loaders, and transportation of the material is carried out by the dumpers and conveyors. So after the material is transported, if it is waste material, it will go to the waste dump area. If it is the coal, the material will go to the coal washeries for washing of the coal. So the mining process we have discussed So if you are using the in-pit crossing and conveying system, then hauling and transportation will be carried out by the in-pit crossing and conveying system. So these are the different mining processes, surface mining processes carried out in open cast mines. Okay, so the uh, uh, for the underground mining, this is the processes carried out in underground mining, which is not our subject matter. So these are all underground mining. So we are not going to discuss. Uh, but in the surface mines, selection of mining equipment is decided by the stripping ratio and the life of the mine and infrastructure available, proposed annual output, technology available. In surface mining, the heavy earth moving equipments, heavy earth moving machineries are selected based on the stripping ratio, life of the mine, infrastructure available, proposed annual output from the mine, technology available, what type of technology available in the market. Based on that, you have to select the mining equipments. So the open cast mining machineries are your shovels, dumper combination, dragline mining we have discussed, surface miner we have discussed, bucket wheel excavator we have discussed, in-pit crossing and spreader technology also we have discussed. And this is the schematic diagram of open cast mining, how the mining and reclamation is carried out simultaneously. And this is a scenario of heavy blasting in open cast benches. Heavy blasting is carried out in open cast benches. So the shovel dumper mining, it can be used for multi-seam extraction. The shovel dumper mining is very flexible method of mining. The shovel dumper mining can work in steep gradients up to 1 in 5. So this is the shovel dumper combination. This is the shovel dumper mining combination, which we have discussed earlier. This is the rope shovel and dumper combination. This is the hydraulic shovel and dumper combination. So this is the surface miner, which is used in surface mines, where where the surface miner is used, uh, it will not have the you don't have to go for drilling and blasting. For lignite extraction, the bucket wheel excavator is used. Bucket wheel excavator we have discussed in the previous classes, which is used mainly for lignite extraction. The bucket wheel excavator particularly is uh, this is the layout of the this is the machine which is called your bucket wheel.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I think you are muted, sir.
So this is the bucket wheel excavator, and this is the wheel is very big. You just see the wheel is very big. It has got these are the buckets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there are number of buckets are attached to the wheel. So whenever the wheel rotates in the anti-clockwise, the material is scooped and the material is loaded to the belt conveyor. So this machine is a very big machine which is called your bucket wheel excavator. So this is the diagram of the bucket wheel excavator. So these are the buckets attached to the wheel, and this is the configuration of the bucket wheel excavator. Bucket wheel. Similarly, we have discussed about dragline mining. Dragline mining. So the draglines can be used uh, with the gradients flatter than 1 in 6. Coal seams should be free from geological faults and other geological disturbances. Whenever you are going to use the drag line in your mines, the gradient should be flatter gradient 1 in 6, and the coal seam for which you are going to use should be free from geological disturbances like your faults and other geological disturbances, and the deposits uh, should have the major strike length, and a hilly property is not suitable. A hillside property, a hilly property is not suitable for dragline mining. The mineral deposit should have at least 15 years of life, then only you can use the dragline machine. So this is the configuration schematic diagram of the dragline machine. This is the bucket, okay, and this is the dragline machine. So the giant dragline bucket. This is the bucket through which the material is lifted. Very big dragline bucket, and we have also seen the in-pit crossing and conveying technology used in naval lignite corporation. So these are the crossers. One, two, three in-pit crossers are there. After the crossing is material is done, then it is transported through the help of the belt conveyors. In-pit crossing and conveying technology also we have discussed. So this is the way how the in-pit crossing and conveying technology can be applied in the mines. So this underground mining method I am not going to discuss. So this is a subject area where you are already studying by uh, some other teacher. So these are the some of the features of underground mining which you can go through uh, uh, for your knowledge sake. So this is not coming under your surface mining method. So you can skip it and you can uh, uh, read yourself. So we have yesterday we have discussed about the new concepts, new technologies in surface mining method. which is going to be implemented in India. Highwall mining is one method of mining where uh, you need not remove the overburden. You take out the minerals, coal, by trench mining method. So this is the high wall. This one is the high wall, and these are the pillars you have left, and these are the boards from which the coal is taken out. High wall mining. This is called high wall mining because the wall is very high above the coal seam. The height of the overburden is very high. That's why it is called your high wall mining. So this is a machine which is called your high wall miner, and these things punch, long wall, etc. You can. So these things are for the underground mining methods. Underground coal gasification is also one subject. So this is all about this. Next is your mining methods. So mining machinery in open cast mines. What are the different type of mining machinery used in open cast mines? Selection of mining equipments in open cast mines, selection and sizing of mining machinery, heavy earth moving machinery with special reference to large open cast iron ore mines. So the iron ore, we have discussed a lot about the coal mining methods, coal mining in India. Similarly, a huge amount of iron ore reserve is there in India. India ranks fifth in terms of iron ore reserves of the world. So I have told you that coal occupies the third position in India next to China and United States of America. Similarly, the iron ore uh, deposit in India ranks fifth in terms of iron ore reserves of the world. It has 25 billion ton of reserves. In India, we are having 25 billion ton of reserves, out of which hematite ore reserves accounts for 15 billion ton at 55% iron cutoff. The remaining 10 billion ton of the reserves includes the magnetite ore, hematite ore, magnetite ore. So this is the contribution of public and private sector companies towards iron ore production in India. So the iron ore consumption pattern, out of 155 million ton of iron ore produced in India, 52 million ton has been consumed by domestic steel manufacturers, steel plants. 89 million ton being exported to the other countries, and the rest 14 million ton is left over in India. We are having huge amount of iron ore deposit in India. Therefore, after using the iron ore for steel manufacture, uh, we are exporting the iron ore to other countries also. And after exporting also, about 14 million ton is still left over in India. So the global steel consumption is projected to increase by 6%. This is the influence of Chinese market. China will continue to be significant driver to global steel demand. The growth in Chinese iron ore import demand is shown in this figure. So the cutting edge is the increasing demand of iron ore vis-a-vis the levy on the export market. The Indian iron ore mining industry is on a competitive edge. The cost of mining, generally 90% of the variable cost of mining comprises of operation of the mine and maintenance cost of mining equipment, whereas the rest is attributable to blasting. The key performance areas where we have to give attention in iron ore mining is the key performance area lies in controlling the productivity of the equipment vis-a-vis its fuel energy consumption norms with due regard to its maintenance requirement so that the net cost of operation per ton of output remains low. Hourly owning and operating cost per hour for each type of machine are detrimental to mining cost per unit of output. A comprehensive analysis is therefore required in the above context for proper selection and sizing of mining machineries. Equipment selection methodology. The techno-economic procedure proposed to evaluate an equipment fleet combination is given below. Computation of owning cost. Basic price of the equipment. It is the price of equipment at its place of manufacture. Then after that you have to add duties, taxes and freight. This includes the excise duty, sell tax, customs duty for imported machines along with freight expenses to bring the equipment to your mining site. The equipment selection methodology is also taken into account the depreciation value. This reflects the difference between the landed price and salvage price of the equipment. In India, generally 10% of the basic price of equipment is considered as the salvage value. Then what is the average investment? Average investment is equal to basic price of the equipment into life of the equipment in years less 1 plus salvage value of the equipment plus life of the equipment in years less 1 divided by 2 into life of the equipment in hours. This is the way you can calculate the average investment. Then you have to pay interest. If you are taking a loan from the bank, you have to take the interest. Also you have to go for insurance and taxes per hour. Generally it is to the tune of 16% of the average investment figure. Then you have to calculate the depreciation cost per hour. This is produced, this is deduced by dividing the depreciation figure with the life of equipment in hours. Then after that you will calculate the total owning cost of the equipment. It is the sum total of 5 and 6. Then you have to go for operating cost calculation. Cost of operating cost calculation like your fuel cost. This reflects the cost of fuel, which can be either high speed diesel for diesel prime movers or the cost of electricity commensurate to the motor road for electrically driven equipment. Then you have to also calculate the lube cost. This includes the cost of consumption of lube oil or hydraulic excavators. In case of dumper, this also comprises the cost of consumption of transmission oil. Then labor cost. To operate the machines, you have to engage the laborers. So this includes the wages of operators computed down to uh, per hour basis. Then whenever the machines are operated in the mines, you have to go for repairs and maintenance if any breakdown is there. This is the most important driver of cost in open cast mines. Generally, it varies from 40% to as high as 60% of the hourly depreciation figures. However, it is better if an existing life cycle cost figure exists for a particular equipment. Then the dumpers or tire mounted equipments also consume the tire cost. This includes the cost of tires and are applicable only to tire mounted mining equipments. Total operating cost is equal to the sum total of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The equipment fleet combination which have this net total of owning and operating cost at its lowest can be considered as the best operating fleet in the context of present mining scenario. So there are certain constraints are there uh, which is going to affect your selected technology. The best selected combination of heavy earth moving machinery needs to be pursued with the following constraints: bench height of the mines commensurate to its quality, working width of the bench, keeping into consideration the width of the ore body and the topography of the area, infrastructure for maintenance of the equipment, available infrastructure for maintenance of the equipments available within the company or needs to revamp the same, adequacy in-house trained skilled manpower, including workmen and supervisor for such specialized services. So it is recommended that proper techno-economic analysis for different fleet combinations need to be assessed prior to its procurement and deployment at mine sites. The assumptions made in the above analysis shall be substantiated with the data on fuel, fuel consumption trends, repairs and maintenance cost, tire cost, etc., as established under actual field conditions. Some proposed and executed projects in this line by Mekon are Raughat iron ore mine, which is planned for 14 million ton per year. They are using the 10 by 8, 10 8 cubic meter power shovels and hydraulic excavators, and dumper capacity used is 120 ton. Then Chiria iron ore mine, they are using 7 million ton per year. Class. So the Chiria iron ore mine producing 7 million ton per year using 5.5 cubic meter hydraulic excavators and 85 ton dumpers. Then Pakri Barwadi coal mine is planned for 15 million ton per year capacity using 4.5 cubic meter hydraulic excavator and 8.3 10 20 cubic meter power shovels, and they are using the dumpers with capacity 50 ton dumpers, 120 ton dumper, 170 ton dumpers. So if you see the international market, international trends for high capacity mines, Mount Wayne coal mine, New South Wales, Australia, they are using 23, 33, 34 cubic meter of hydraulic shovel capacity and dumpers of 189 ton, 218 ton, 230 ton dumpers. Then Kaltim Prima coal mine, northeastern Kalimantan, Indonesia. They are using 10 by 10 23 cubic meter rope shovels, 34 cubic meter hydraulic shovels, and the dumper capacity is 85 ton, 135 ton, 137 ton, and 185 ton dumpers. And Fording River coal mine, British Columbia, Canada, they are using 44 cubic meter electric shovel, and the dumper capacity is 155 ton and 280 ton dumper capacity. And Serizon coal mine, Colombia, they are using 27.5 cubic meter electric rope shovel and 14 cubic meter hydraulic shovel with a dumper size of 154 ton. In Green Hills coal mine, British Columbia, Canada, they are using 30.5, 45, 20 cubic meter electric rope shovels and 31 cubic meter hydraulic shovels, and dumper capacity used is 155 ton and 280 ton dumpers. Cadero Rojo coal mine, Wyoming, USA, they are using 35 cubic meter electric rope shovels with a combination of 120 ton. So this is all about today's class. Today we have discussed the I have given an overview of this surface mining method, surface mining technology used in India for extraction of coal deposits, for extraction of the iron ore deposits. So there are very big machines used in surface mines for producing more mineral. So India is the fifth largest producer of iron ore, and this iron ore is mined from the hilltop deposits, uh, and these minerals, the iron ore is going to the steel plants. The major consumer of the iron ore is steel plant for steel manufacture. And since we are having enough since we are having enough iron ore deposit in India, whatever we are mining after consumption in steel plants, amount of iron ore is exported to other countries, and after exporting also, about 14 million ton of iron ore is still lying in the stockyards. So coal is the major mining operation in India, and the Coal India is the major player for mining of the coal deposits. And the Coal India is having different subsidiaries like your Central Coalfields Limited, Bharat Coking Coal Limited, Mahanadi Coalfields Limited, Southeastern Coalfields Limited, Northern Coalfields Limited, uh, Northeast Coalfields Limited, Western Coalfields Limited. So these are the subsidiaries of Coal India who are producing the coal in India. Similarly, the iron ore mining is carried out by National Mineral Development Corporation (NMDC), Steel Authority of India Limited, Tata, your TISCO or Tata Iron and Steel Company. TISCO is also mining the iron ore deposits for their captive use in the steel plants. So therefore, your mining plays a very important role for the sustenance of the industries in India. Not only that, the mining industry also exporting huge amount of iron ore to other countries. So mining is very vital activity going on in India, particularly in terms of coal mining and iron ore mining. And the coal which is mined is used for the power generation. Iron ore which is mined is going to the steel plants for steel production. So this is all about today's class. This is an overview of coal mining and iron ore mining in India. Thank you. Have a patient. Thank you. Have a nice day. Happy Holi to all of you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Happy Holi to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.